Hi friends, welcome back to our channel if you've seen our videos before, and if you're new, my name is Abby and today we are going to be talking about my reading journal. At the beginning of this year, I kind of fell down a YouTube rabbit hole into the world of bullet journaling, reading journals, book journals. I think they're fascinating. People who can bullet journal, you guys have my awe and respect. I am not artistic in that way, so it is not something that I lean naturally towards, but I really liked the concept, I like the way it works, and so I thought to myself at the beginning of the year, why not just try one? I decided to start my own book journal, reading tracker, reading index. I'm not 100% sure what I would refer to this as because it's definitely not the traditional bullet journal reading journal. I kind of did my own thing. I do use Goodreads and Storygraph. Yes, both. I like them both for different reasons, but I use them both to track my reading throughout the year. And this is kind of a place where I can have a little bit more information. I can have some lists visually, just things that I can't do using those tracking methods that I wanted to have in one place. Part of why I've waited like all the way to the end of the year now to share this journal with you is that I really wanted to make sure it was going to work for me, because I didn't want to recommend something that I wasn't 100% certain of. And you know, things about it I've used more than others, as you will see in this video, but for the most part overall I'm really happy with how it's turned out and how it's been working for me. So yeah, let's talk about it. First thing I had to do when I was getting into creating one of these was pick a notebook, pick a journal. I have a bit of a notebook problem, so I knew I wanted to pick something I already owned. I didn't want to like go out and buy one, although there are some really, really pretty journals out there. I knew I wanted to use something I already had, especially if I wasn't 100% sure it was going to work out for me, if I wanted to try it. So I ended up going with a Happy Notes notebook from the Happy Planner because I really like the ability to like move things around, change the order of stuff depending on where I wanted to put it. This is the Disney Princess Beauty Big Notebook from Happy Planner. I love all of the princess collections that they've done, but this is the one where I got the big notebook. I do have some regular sized Happy Notes, but I decided to go with the big one because I thought I could fit more information on fewer pages just because the pages are bigger. And it's worked out really well for me so far, so I'm pretty happy with this choice. So yeah, let's change the angle and I will show you around my reading journal. So here's my reading journal. We're gonna go ahead and open her up. I have this little pocket here just in case I want to keep track of anything, like stickers or whatever. Then the first spread that I knew I wanted to make was an ARC tracker for review copies. As you can see, I've got quite a few, but I'm actually quite happy with the progress I had on this year. I'll be continuing to add to this in 2023, and my goal is to get this even further checked off, obviously. The idea with these TBR spreads, I have a few more that you'll see here in a second, was just to get a visual representation of the books. I tend to do a better job of keeping track what's on my physical TBR and then totally blanking on my digital libraries, so these are to help with that. Next up are more TBR spreads. This one's for my Kindle library. Don't get overwhelmed, I know it's a lot of books, but I just made this spread not too long ago, towards the end of this year, so I'm excited to get to checking more things off of it in 2023. And then this is my Audible TBR of books that we purchased while we had our Audible subscription. The next spread after that is a recommendations page where I can keep track of things that are specifically recommended to me from friends or what have you. I'm not the happiest with this spread and I didn't really use it all that much, but I am happy that it exists, so I'll probably keep adding to it next year. Next up is what I'm calling my Read the States challenge, which is just something I thought would be fun. The goal is to read a book set in each of the 50 US states. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty good. I have 24 of 50 checked off, which is almost halfway, so hooray. These little tabbies are ideas, books that are on my TBR already or whatever that are set in certain states. I just like stick them on that. So the goal is to finish this as soon as possible. Some of these books are from 2020, 2021, and then obviously this year. So now we're going into the 2022 specific spreads. I put this little bookmark here so I can always find
the year start. I don't know what I'm going to put here, some sort of stats or something, but I'll figure that out. This is the cover page. And then on the back side of this, I actually just added this. This is 2022 at a glance, and obviously it's a little incomplete right now, but the idea with this is to have all of the info that's in the next few spreads in one place that I can see it easy. So I've got total books read, my average rating for the year, each month how many books I read, my TBR challenge, which I've already completed, so go me, my most read authors, my most read genres, and how many of each like format I read. I just thought that would be a fun thing to track. And then my top 10 reads of the year, top 3 rereads, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do down here. I have a little reflections thing written down, so I might just like jot down a few thoughts about my reading this year. But I like how this spread turned out. I think it's really fun. And then when you turn the page, you start into the actual 2022 reading log. So this is a lot of pages. I've read a lot of things this year. I've been having a lot of fun with these spreads, and with just keeping all this information in one place. So it's a lot, but basically what I do for this spread, let me show you a little bit closer. The Ladies of Grace Adieu right here is a good example. So this is basically how I lay out my reading tracker spread. This is what I do. So I put the number of book that it is that I read, the title, the author name, my rating, the format that I read it in, and how I read it, whether it was an ARC or from the library or something like that. I put in little parentheses right there. I have the dates that I read it, the genre of the book, a song that reminds me of it, and a quote that I really love. And I also usually have the main character's name, which I have found really helpful. This is a short story collection, so it's actually maybe not the best example, but normally I will also put the main character's name in this little spread because I'm the worst at remembering main character names. I don't know if you guys are like that too, but it's bad. So basically this is just a log of information. I'm really happy with it because it's really satisfying to kind of see them all laid out like this, and I'll definitely be continuing this system into the next year. This next spread is my TBR jar, which I kind of renamed halfway through the year just to be TBR challenge because I didn't really use the jar aspect nearly as much as I expected to. But basically I took 10 of the books that have been on my physical TBR for the longest time, and I put their titles on this spread and in a little jar on pieces of paper, and the goal was to read all 10 before the end of the year, and as you can see I succeeded! Hooray! I'm really happy with the way that this particular challenge turned out. I kind of want to do a video maybe picking my reads for next year. I don't know. We'll see if I actually end up doing that, but this was a really fun challenge, and I basically challenged myself that if I didn't read any of these books by the end of the year, I would donate them, because if I didn't read them, I wasn't going to read them, you know? But I actually found some new favorites this year. I found some that were not so good, but the goal was achieved, and I'm really happy about that. This next spread is pretty self-explanatory. It's my 2022 book purchases. Not all of these books actually did I purchase. Some were gifted, some were sent to me from publishers, etc., but these are basically everything that I added to my physical book collection this year. I did not do nearly as well as I was hoping with not buying books, and I actually have a lot more after this I need to update and probably finish out the spread on this side, but you know, here we are. Here we have my series tracker, which is another fairly new addition to my reading journal, but I'm really happy with it. So this side has series that I'm currently in the middle of or wanting to start or whatever, and I can obviously add more to this list. I'm the worst at finishing series. Like, I'll read the first maybe 2 books and then I just never finish them. So I wanted a visual place where I could see the series titles and see how many books are in them so that I can kind of check them off. And let me tell you, it's the most satisfying thing in the entire world to check these bubbles off. And then on this side, I decided to do a reread tracker with books that I've been wanting to read again, series that I've been wanting to dive back into. I've made a little bit of progress on some of these. I don't think I'll focus on this because I'd rather spend the time over here right now. But this is a nice place to kind of keep track of, like, me saying, oh, I want to read that again, and then actually writing it down should hopefully help me actually succeed in doing that. Here are my 5-star reads of the year. I used this big sticker that my mom actually gave me, and I wasn't sure what to do with it, and then I thought, I'll put it in my 5-star reads spread, and I love the way it looks. I love the way this all turned out, the color scheme and everything. I decided just to put new to me 5 stars on the sticker, which, like, look how many there are. I'm so thrilled. But I did reread quite a few things, so I put them on this side. I basically made a list of all my 5 stars. So it's the title, the author, and the place that I got it. So like TBR or from the library or whatever. And I'm really happy with how this one turned out. This is my NetGalley tracker, and it's a lot more precise than the ARC tracker page. I've got places for the release date, the date I finished reading it, and the day I put my review up. As you can see, there's a few that I still need to finish out before the end of the year, but I really wanted to be sure that I keep track of these carefully because NetGalley to me is a little more intimidating, so. And finally, my last spread, and one of my newest spreads actually, this is my library tracker for keeping up with my physical library things. I use the library's digital services a lot, but those return automatically, unlike physical things. So this way I can see what I have out, when I checked it out, and when it's due, plus a little box to mark if I've actually read it or watched it. And this is working pretty well so far. It's helping me keep track of a lot of things. I do have to update some of these due dates, but I'm excited that it's working and it kind of gives me a visual place to keep track of everything.
So that is it. There is a flip through of my reading journal. I am pretty happy with how it's turned out. There are definitely some things I would have done differently at the beginning of the year. You can kind of see the style of spreads that I started to do started to change. I'm very excited to start getting to making my 2023 spreads, changing out some of the year-specific ones, getting new ones, fresh start. It's gonna be really exciting. Let me know down in the comments, do you have a reading journal? Do you have a bullet journal? Do you do that kind of thing? I would love to know. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe down below for more Disney and bookish magic, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!